Hi guys, today we are going to go through the lesson demand. Let's first learn what demand is and then let's move on to the law of demand and the conditions of demand. So, what is demand? Demand is the willingness and ability to buy a product. Let's take an example. Let's say I want to buy a car. I want to buy the car, but I don't have the income to buy the car. So, willingness is there, but I don't have the ability. So, that is not demand. Demand is when there is both willingness and ability. Now, what is the law of demand? The law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Let's look at this with an example. Let's assume that I'm going to buy chocolates. When the price of chocolates increase, I would buy less chocolates than before. So let's say the price was 10, and when the price was 10, previously I bought 20 chocolates. But if the price increases to 15, I will buy a quantity that is lower than 20. Let's say I'll buy 15 because now chocolates are way more expensive, right? So this is price, this is quantity. Which means when price increases, quantity demand decreases. But what if price decreases? Then products are cheaper, you will buy more, quantity demand increases. This is basically the law of demand. The fall in quantity demand caused as a result of an increase in price is what you call as contraction in demand. Then what's extension? Extension is the increase in quantity demanded as a result of a decrease in price. Extension in demand. Now let's say the price was originally here. Then this was the price, this was the quantity. If the price increased to this level, there was a decrease in quantity demand. That situation, the fall in quantity demanded, is contraction in demand. But what if price decreases? Then quantity demand increases. This movement is extension in demand. Now let's move into conditions of demand. Conditions of demand is basically the other factors other than price which will affect demand. These are simply the factors that will lead to an increase or decrease in demand, which is a shift in the curve, not a movement along the curve. So let's assume that the original demand curve is D. If there is a shift to the right in the demand curve, that's an increase in demand. That's an increase in demand. But if there is a shift to the left in the demand curve, that's a decrease. Alright, I have listed out some factors that might affect demand. So the first one is price of substitutes. Now, substitutes are products that can be used in place of another product. For example, let's say tea and coffee. If the price of tea increases, tea is expensive, so without buying tea instead, I might move on to coffee. Then demand for coffee will increase, right? So when the price of a substitute product increase, demand for my product will increase. So I will only write the effect of an increase in each of the factors, because the decrease is the exact opposite of it, which means, let's say the price of tea decreases, then tea is cheaper. So why would I buy coffee? I might as well buy tea because it's cheaper. So then demand for coffee will decrease. Next case, price of complementary products. Complementary products are products that are used along with another product, which means you consume the two products together. Let's say CDs and DVD players, like that. Or else printers and toner, that's the best example. Let's take the printer example. When the price of printers increase, printers are expensive, customers will buy less printers. So if the amount of printers bought is low, then obviously the demand for toner will decrease. Right? So that means when the price of complementary products increase, the demand for the other product will decrease. What if there is a decrease in the price of printers? Then printers are cheaper, you will buy more printers. If you buy more printers, you will obviously buy more toner as well, so the demand for toner increase. Now this is somewhat straightforward. Let's assume that I'm earning $100. With this income of $100, I can usually buy, let's say, 10 packets of noodles. If my income increases to 150, now I can buy more noodles, right? So then the demand for noodles will increase, let's say 20. So an increase in income will lead to an increase in demand as well. What if my income decreases to 80? Then I can't buy as many noodles packets as I bought before, so the demand will decrease. Next one, population. Let's take an example like this. Let's say let's consider the population of students and the demand for textbooks. When the population of students increase, obviously the demand for textbooks will increase. If the population of students decrease, the demand for textbooks will decrease, because there aren't many students to demand for textbooks, to buy textbooks. So as population increase, demand will increase. Then we have weather condition. Let's say that there is rainy weather these days. If it's raining, then the demand for raincoats will increase. But if not, the demand will decrease if it's sunny. So the weather condition factor might depend on the product. In this case, raincoats. Then we have advertising. If there are more advertisements published about a particular product, then obviously people get to know more about it and they will demand for more. But if the amount of advertisements decrease, then the demand might fall. Then we have trends. So this is mostly relatable to products that go in line with fashion. So let's say there is a new trend of wearing bell bottoms. In that case, the demand for bell bottoms will increase. So if there is a rising trend for a particular product, then the demand for that good will increase. But if the trend dies down, then the demand will fall. So these are the basic factors that will affect demand and will lead to an increase or a decrease in demand, which is basically a shift in the demand curve. Before learning all this, we learnt about the law of demand, which is what leads to the extension or contraction in demand. So those are the basics that you need to know when considering demand.